Here are 5 things that you can do to lower your energy when you are working with other people who are maybe famous, well known, and you're just breaking into an industry. So, years ago, I was a youth pastor and I got to accompany my lead pastor when he would be invited to speak at different churches, different speaking engagements. And this was all around the Northwest, and I learned a lot from those experiences. So here are the main things I learned is number 1, always be ready for absolutely anything. Don't be shy when you're asked to do something. Look for opportunities to do things when you just see that there's needs or there's wants. Just do it. Number 2, use your discernment. Not everyone in those situations have good intention. It's your job to keep your eyes moving around the room, making sure that everyone and everything is going well. And I'm not just talking in the natural realm, I'm talking in the spiritual realm, because sometimes people have bad intentions. Okay. Number 3, you might have an amazing gift. You might be the most powerful person, or think you're the most powerful person in the room, and that actually may be true. And but you're not the main character. So when you accompany a main speaker, it's your job to lower your energy. It's your job to serve in whatever capacity that's needed, and in a sense, blend in. So next one, practice blending in, practice lowering your energy. Sometimes it just means stop talking. Sometimes that just means like you just kind of stand a little bit back. Do not try to be the main character. The worst thing you can do is try to tell people you have a website, try to tell people what you do, try to use your gift in front of people. Like, trust me, you're just shooting yourself in the foot in that case. So don't try to be the main character when you're not. Just be yourself, have fun, but lower your energy and blend in. And that's going to be really tough for some of you who have a need to be seen, or have been suppressed or oppressed or depressed. Like, I get it. Don't get me wrong. But trust me, if you are working with high valuable people and you do these things, it's going to just benefit you. There, this is kind of the last one, is there's sometimes when you're praying for people or working with them that you just need to be security. You need to make sure they're safe. Sometimes it's because you are so familiar with the person and you've gotten to know them and they trust you, and that's why they've brought you along. And that's the part, is they already know who you are, they know what you can do. And so just be that supportive, good energetic force. And in a lot of those situations, when I was invited to go with my lead pastor, I would just stand behind him. And so just imagine, in a lot of scenarios, he's the main speaker. He's brought in, he's paid to be the speaker. And then after the service, he's praying for people. He's giving them prophetic words, readings, whatever you want to call it. And I would be standing behind him, and I'm looking around the room. I'm making sure everything's good spiritually. I'm like, shakara sitara parakata, but I'm doing it like shakara sitara parakata. So I'm just kind of praying quietly. And I'm just getting downloads, all this information every time somebody steps up. It's a woman, it's a man and a woman, it's a dude, whoever it is, I'm getting all this information. And if I really was like, oh my God, I got to tell everybody what I'm getting, like, it just disrupts. Like, those people are there to see this person, not you. So that's sometimes, like, that's a secure person who can just be quiet and just do like what you're supposed to do. But for some people that feels humiliating or whatever. But trust me, it's not. Like, it's just an opportunity to go like, yeah, I'm getting the information too. That's great. So, by the way, did I tell anybody I was getting information? No, not until later. Like, you don't want to interject because you may mess up the flow of the person who's doing the work. So that's the part you just don't want to do. And a lot of those times he was actually just giving these words and encouragements. Sometimes he'd pray for people. But that's the thing, is you have to understand it's right place, right time. Because there was plenty of times him and I would go, like, we went to this church one time where he was invited. And again, I just went along because he asked me to come, because he trusted me, because he felt better with me with him. And there was one of these places, he just looks at me, he goes, "So, ready to pray for people?" And I was like, "Sure." Like, there was no expectation. He didn't prep me beforehand. He didn't tell me what was going to go on, but that's what he felt led to do. So for 4 hours, we prayed for every single person that wanted prayer. And we just had a fantastic, like, just amazing time. So that's the part, is you just never know what's going to happen. So you should be prepared for everything. Another important point is, when you have spiritual information and it's your turn to share it, share it. Okay. Now, you don't want to say horrific things that are going to traumatize people or embarrass people publicly. That's not what I'm talking about. But I'm talking genuine, real spiritual information that's going to benefit somebody, that's going to encourage them, it's going to build them up. Um, and then here's the thing. This is going to be trigger. Ah! um, you have biases. I have biases. So when you're talking political, religious, spiritual, like, we all have our perspectives of things. If those filters are over you, it can really cloud the information you're getting. And this is the part of when you're doing this kind of work. Like, you get a download of information, it may not be what you already believe politically, religiously. So you need to discern, like, do I need to actually share this? And then here's the thing. I don't care if Donald Trump or Barack Obama is in the room with you. Like, your politics, your belief systems, they do not matter if you're supposed to give them a word. If you're supposed to share with them spiritual information, your opinions do not matter. Okay. That's the part where most people cannot do this kind of work, because they just get so, I don't like this person. Like, who cares what you think? What matters is you giving the information and doing it in the best way possible to benefit that person receiving it. And if you can do that, and I just like to use politics because it's the thing that just triggers everyone. I mean, maybe not everybody, but it triggers a lot of people. So don't let your filters get in the way. Um, Give the message no matter what your political or religious beliefs are. And then this is the other part, is share it in a way that they can receive it. Don't start pontificating about something that they have no idea. Just share it straightforward and practical ways so they can receive it and actually do. So let me tell you a story about this. So I'm with my lead pastor. We're driving to Snohomish, Washington. He is invited to minister at this church. Now, it was kind of funny because it was like after our church service, we have to drive like another hour, and he's going to go minister at this night service. And he says to me, "Hey, will you drive my car?" Which I don't think he had ever had me drive, because he's like, "I need to write down my message." And I just thought that was funny. So I'm driving. We're having a whole conversation. He's writing down some notes. And I mean, he had just done 2 services. We got in the car, and then we're driving to go do this other service an hour away. And so we show up, and no joke, there's probably 15 people at this church service. Okay. Probably one of the smallest I've ever, I mean, I've had services in my house that were bigger. Um, so this was like tiny, right? And so it's so funny. Main pastor introduces him, yada yada yada. They do all that kind of stuff, and then this is another one of those situations where I'm just there to support him. I'm just there to have some fun. I drove so he could have an opportunity to write down some notes. And I remember this just like it was yesterday. And there's a picture that I just saw today that reminded me of this story, and this is why I'm sharing it with you. Um, so we're standing there, and I'm actually kind of in the back, sitting down behind him while he's up front. And he says, "Hey, welcome. My name is da 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 da." And he starts going in his whole thing, talks about his family, and he goes, "Today's message is green light, go." And he's just about to get into his message, and he stops, and he turns around and looks at me, and he goes like this. And, could you imagine if there's 400 or 500 people there? But, there's 15. So he just looks at me and he goes, "Dude," he whispers to me, he puts the microphone, he goes, "Dude, I've got to go to the bathroom." He's like, "Just do your thing. Give him a word, do whatever you want to do." And I was like, Okay. So he hands me the microphone. He gets, he walks all the way. The bathroom was in the very back. So everyone could literally see him. I'm terrified. I'm nervous. I mean, terrified probably is a bit of an example, but I was really nervous because I'm like he's done this to me before, and now I do it to other people. So, and I've been doing this to people for a long time. So I was like, okay, like Holy Spirit, what do I need to share with these people? And I was like, oh, okay. And so I could make some assumptions about this church because it was obvious they were renting the building from another church because this was a later in the day service. So obviously they didn't have access. And I just started like prophesying. I was like, all right, guys, so this is where I see you guys going. And by the way, this was like the most like not excited a bunch of people. And they have no idea who I am other than I introduced myself. It's just like this is some dude that was in the car with the guy that we came to see. And so I just start prophesying. I see you getting a new building. I see you going into multiple services, even upwards of 5 services and all this other kind of stuff. And as I'm kind of doing this, I'm kind of just in the flow and not paying attention. And all of a sudden, I kind of, it's like, kind of like, like a finish. And my pastor's standing right there and he's like, hey, great job. And I was like, thanks. And I just handed him the microphone. I just went and sat back down. And then he did his whole message. Now, here's the thing, like he would do stuff like that, often, but this was interesting because, like nobody's going to come in, at least I wouldn't think anybody's going to come into a church with maybe 15 people at a service and then start prophesying that they're going to get their own church building. They're going to be moving to 5 services and all this other stuff. Now, this is over 10 years ago this happened. And that picture that's probably triggering to a few people is that pastor of that church, where I was at, who's now probably one of the most well-known pastors in the Northwest. He's on the news, um, all that kind of stuff. And here's the thing, if you're polarized or too political and you don't like this or like that, yeah, you won't be able to help people, whatever their beliefs, whatever their thing is. Like that's the thing, is you just need to be the one to give the message. Oh, and by the way, that pastor, not only moved to multiple services, he's now in multiple locations. And yeah, the word was true. So the main thing I just want you to get out of this is, even though like prophesying that to a group of 15 people that look like this church is never going to go anywhere, you just have to share the truth of what you're getting, no matter what you think, no matter what you believe. You have to get yourself out of the way and just like share the message that's coming to you. So I hope this encourages you guys. And I just want to encourage you, when you're getting spiritual information, don't be shy about sharing it. Just keep in mind, you want to do it in a way that people can receive it. So have an amazing day. We'll see you soon.